can imagine my excitement as a good southern boy coming across these beauties. Aren't they gorgeous, those green tomatoes? Now these are from Canada, so Canadian farmers know they have to start picking their crop before it's ruined by the first frost. Now notice some of these are kind of pink. Now whenever you're making any kind of a chutney or fried green tomatoes or whatever it is, they've got to be really, really emerald green. So pink ones, I don't know what you'd use those for, but go for those nice dark green ones and they'll make a beautiful chutney for you. And we got all sorts of other possibilities to flavor our chow chow. Today I'm going to use just green onions and cabbage, green peppers and cabbage, and there are all sorts of wonderful green peppers we could use. Those ones that are called Cubanelle or Italian, and poblanos would be wonderful too. Now, next time I get in the mood to make a chow chow, maybe I'll try tomatillos. I love those, and I think they might make a really, really nice chutney. We need a little heat. I'm using jalapenos today. Serranos would be a really good choice too. They would also be delicious. Either one will do it. So we're good to go. We've got everything that we need here. Found this beautiful cabbage. Isn't that neat? So we got that. Peppers, lots of green tomatoes. Just got to grab a few onions, and we'll go home and cook. So we'll start with the stars of our show, these beautiful green tomatoes. I've got about a dozen of them. They weigh about 5 pounds. And so take the caps off, of course, and I would suggest that you quarter them and then take each half and thinly slice it crosswise. So you can cut them up any way you like, but I think this one works best. So we'll get all of the tomatoes going there, and you have to take a little time with it and make sure you have them all cut up. So put them all in a big pot. It has to be a stainless steel pot. People used to use enameled pots for pickling, but they don't usually have very thick bottoms, so we're much better off with a stainless steel pot that's got a nice solid heat conducting bottom on it. So start with your green tomatoes and then move on to the green peppers. So I'm using 3 large green peppers today. They weighed a little over 1.5 pounds. That should do it. Now here's a cleaning technique that you may have seen me do before, but if not, watch this. Nip off both ends, make a cut down one side, and then just roll it open. And see you get all those seeds and the central core and all the excess ribs out just by doing that real fast. So when you have them all cleaned up, then just sliver them. Cut it into slivers. The gauge is not all that important. You can kind of do it your way, but I would suggest that you sliver all the green peppers crosswise. And then don't forget the caps. They have a lot of usable green flesh, so look for that too. Use everything, we don't want to waste. And then we'll move on to our jalapenos. I think 3 of them should probably do it for you. Take the caps off, slice them in half, and you want to get out most of the center with the seeds. You know, the heat is all in those white ribs, and so you don't want to remove absolutely all of it, but the seeds are not very interesting, so you want to get those out. And then again, sliver that. Then you can move on to your cabbage. Now that's that beautiful cabbage I showed you at the market. It's so pretty. And it's very dense. You know, the weather's turning cooler, so cabbages are hitting better. You know, they're very heavy. And today I'm just using half of that beautiful cabbage, so it's only about a pound, but you can do more. You could do 1.5 pounds. You could do the whole cabbage if you want to. It needs to be rinsed and cut in half and quartered and shredded. So that's our shredded cabbage. And so that's pretty much, our onions. Our onions are coming up next. So you want a couple of big white onions. They should weigh close to a pound apiece. So it should be close to 2 pounds of the big white onions. So buy as much as you need. So trim them, cut them in half. I would quarter them and thinly slice them, you know, kind of the way you did with the green tomatoes, and I think that's a good way to handle that. So when you have the onions all in, then you're ready to start adding the other ingredients for this chow chow. It needs sugar and vinegar. Those are the important things. I think distilled white vinegar is a good choice, but you know, cider vinegar is just dandy too. So that's 2 pounds of sugar, which is about 4 cups, something like that. So we started out with just 3 cups of white vinegar. It wasn't enough. It needed 4. So use the full quart, I think, and about 2 tablespoons of salt. Start with that. You might want some more. I would suggest you flavor this chow chow with a little ginger. I think that's a wonderful addition. But put it in the cheesecloth sachet. So that's about 2 or 3 inches of fresh ginger, thinly sliced, so the flavor will come out. And I think a little garlic is nice in that too. Again, in the herb bouquet, the sachet there. So 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. Just, you know, cut them in half, or you don't even have to peel them. Some of those had some green sprouts in them, which I don't like, so I removed those. And I think some black peppercorns are really nice in there too. You know, a little kind of handful of those. Then tie up your herb bouquet, and so now you're good. You got everything there. This has to come to a full boil, and then it has to cook for, I don't know, like an hour or something. You know, stir it fairly often until it's until it feels kind of, you know, thickened, slightly thickened, until it feels right. Taste it too, you know, adjust vinegar and salt, all that sort of thing. Then if you want to keep this for any time at all, you want to put it into canning jars. So let those have a bit of a boil in hot water in a pot to sterilize them, and then you can pull them out with your canning tongs, and then you need a canning funnel too. I have this nice set I just picked up. Be sure you wipe off the rim of the jar, and then this wonderful little tool is magnetic, so it will pick up the lids, because the lids also have to be not boiled, but you know, washed, and you want those standing nearby in hot water. So fill your jars and wipe them carefully, put the lids on there, and then screw on the tops. And this recipe will probably yield you about 8 pints. And so I started here, as you can see, with the first 6 pints, and then because the pot that I sterilized the jars in will hold those 6 jars beautifully to process them in our boiling water bath. So then I went back and did the other 2 jars later, same thing. So you can lower those right into the same hot water that you sterilized the jars in. This one, this pot has too much water in it to hold all of the 6 full jars now. And so I'm removing the excess water. But the jars have to be covered. They're supposed to be covered by a full inch of water. But anyway, this goes on the stove. It has to simmer covered for 10 to 15 minutes, and then they're good. So you can enjoy your chow chow with all kinds of things. My vote is always for chow chow with pinto beans. Thanks for joining me.